Okay, our anothers, this is now take 3. So today is a day where many past traumas are being released, and not in the traditional form or format where you heal your own traumas, but instead it is where the perpetrators look within and heal some of their own traumas. And what that looks like is that they go back to their childhood or their youth and recognize where their original imprint comes from. And they work on acknowledging the harms that they have caused and why. And just coming to the realization that their behavior flows from original trauma from their youth as well. And to let go of the shame and the regret which they carry, but instead to embrace the healing energies of forgiving self before moving on and asking others to forgive them as well. So we want you to just pay attention to the world around you and to find those people who have been damaged, but who are beginning to heal themselves. Because simply put, the energies within the world now is changing. What used to push down and suppress your childhood memories are now bubbling up to the surface to remind you of what your childhood was really like, so that you can ultimately connect the dots to how these childhood behaviors, these childhood experiences, these childhood traumas have rippled through your life to result in abusive tendencies that you exhibited to those around you. And how when you finally resolve your own childhood trauma, that the desire to harm those closest to you actually begins to melt away, because the behavior is merely the result of programming. It is merely the result of being shown in your childhood how to react when stressors come about. And you now replace that with the recognition that you are in control of how you respond. And so instead of reacting, you are working on shifting to a response process whereby you breathe, think, process, relive where the original moment came from that causes you to want to react in a particular way, and then recognizing that that is all that it is. A learned response to trauma and nothing else. And when you begin to release those childhood traumas, your ability to engage as a full grown-up instead of as a child who is being triggered in that moment, you will find that much in your life begins to look differently, because you will be able to live in the present and in the now instead of continually residing in the trauma of your childhood. Now, do not underestimate the healing power of such a monumental change by those perpetrators, because the chains, the ties, the binds, the bondages within which you are held by your experiences with those perpetrators will also be released and relaxed some. It only means that the energetic tie that connects you to that original event and that original person is now being released, but your own inner trauma still exists on its own, which is for you to heal. But we wish to give you a very simple example. If you were harmed by someone, and that someone came to you and said sincerely, honestly, and with integrity, "I am so sorry that I have harmed you," would you not admit that a piece of that trauma would be able to be healed in that moment because the person who harmed you is able to take responsibility for their actions, thereby acknowledging to you that what happened was never your fault. You were merely in the wrong place at the wrong time and subject to their rage, their anger, and their hostility. It would go a long way to showing you, to teaching you that this did not happen to you because you were unworthy somehow, but because you literally were within their expression of rage. And therein would lie a small or a large fractal of healing on your part to release the anticipation of such future traumas, because you would at a minimum know that you are safe from this one person subjecting you to those same experiences again. Your fear of having to look over your shoulder, wondering when the next shoe is going to drop, would release, and you would be able to sit in a more relaxed state within your own body, allowing your central nervous system to begin the long journey of healing, of finding a new resonance of peace and calm and placid emoting. You're beginning to see how the vibration of the planet and its ascension process is forcing many of those around you to process this shift in vibrational energy in their own unique way. And as we have been saying, that those who choose not to move willingly into this ascension process will have more and more lessons piled upon them to imprint them with a new vibration, which is that of acknowledgement, responsibility, recognizing that there is karma, meaning that if you treat others poorly, it will come back, and it may not come back in a form that you desire at all. And sometimes the lessons that will humble you and bring you to the knees are those of potential utter devastation. And when you arrive at the doorstep of the unimaginable, you sometimes find that this is enough to show you and to teach you that you have had enough and that you wish to give up, that you surrender to a different way because you realize that your way is no longer serving you nor those around you, and you consent to allowing us to come in and to begin the long and arduous journey of restoring you back to balance, to health, to love, to peace, to all that you were meant to know in this lifetime. It is not an easy journey to begin anew, but each of you is being called to release all that which does not serve you. And this means all past traumas, tricks, and treatises with energies that are not here to sustain humanity's best intentions. It's pretty simple. You will find that today the world is altered much simply by the healing process of many of the perpetrators who have inflicted their painful experiences onto those innocent victims who just happen to be within their arm's reach. So find that your own inner world will begin to shift and reflect a different energy within you as well, because those who have harmed you must naturally heal as well, one way or the other, by choice or by divination. You will see how much will shift in the coming months. We spoke of karma and the seeds that you have planted in your garden. And many of those who have planted weeds or who have planted in the garden of another will begin to come home and to plant something anew in their own garden, because they are finally ready to build a new world for themselves, as well as those whom they choose to invite back into their lives. It is a new day and a new energy, and just see if you can feel it within your bones today. And so it is. Namaste.